We are live for UFC 297 live watch party featuring Strickland versus Dricus. Plessis, the big middleweight title in the UFC, is on the line. Stay tuned. We got the big three coming up next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the Community MMA with your host, Chris Cross.
Yes! Yes! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Baby!
What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. Welcome to the TCMMA podcast. We are live for UFC 297. Big three coming up. We got Neil Magny, Rockwell Pennington, and Dricus du Plessis winning in succession. But first and foremost, on tap right now, you got Neil Magny taking on Mike Malott. First fight of the big three as we work our way down to the middleweight title. And man, that's going to be a good one. But first, Neil Magny and Mike Malott. We got Leon Edwards currently ruling this division. He rules it, right? You beat Colby and Usman. I mean, the guy rules the division. But you got two guys in Neil Magny, who's up there. Mike Malott's looking to move up there. He's 10-1. Neil Magny's 28-12. So let's have some fun. We haven't had a finish in a while either. A lot of decisions tonight, especially in the last 3 or 4 fights, if not more. So the fans are dying to see a finish. Also, the men's Canadian fighters have not fought well tonight. And Mike Malott is an opportunity for them to capitalize here. Both fighters come into the center. And here we go. And so Neil Magny is going to be, he's got the longer reach. He can keep his distance. It's going to be Mike Malott who's got to work his way inside. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see in this first round. Especially with the crowd really getting pumped up, as you can just hear it already picking up right now. Because they want a big finish tonight. That's what they're here for. 2 decisions in the main card. And several before that. Not a good look. And you can see already Mike Malott trying to throw some feints, trying to get Magny off his game, but Magny's not going to get off his game. He's going to keep his distance and throw them jabs and leg kicks and then try to capitalize on a big right. That's it. Both guys trade leg kicks. Nice. First minute gone in this fight. Both guys continue to feel each other out. And it's been a rough night for us, man. We need Neil Magny to pull this thing out. We need Neil Magny to get the job done here. Act like a veteran. Forget them 12 losses, Neil. He's got to get one tonight. 1 W. Malott comes in with a big right, but then it's Magny who ties him up. And Mike turns him around. Now these guys will work to the center once again, and Neil Magny will get him out of there with a knee. 3:20 left, round 1. So we got this fight, and then we got Rockwell Pennington versus Myra Bueno Silva. Who's going to take over for Amanda Nunes, who's absolutely dominated the women's bantamweight division for what seems like 10 years. Probably not that long, but it seems like it. She's been up there for a long time. And we're going to have a new women's bantamweight champion tonight, hopefully, unless it's a draw. Then, of course, you got the middleweight title on the line after that. So, definitely fights to look forward to. And the women's bantamweight, it's an interesting division, man. Because you also got Juliana Pena in the mix. When she comes back, she's going to want to fight for the title. And she might be the best one in the division. But that's why tonight's co-main event is so interesting, because someone's going to capitalize the women's bantamweight title when they wouldn't have had a shot any other time. So you're gonna have two women that are just going at it for that strap. Both guys tie up once again along the fence. 2 minutes left in the first round. And man, I'm getting like something needs to happen. I can imagine how the fans are. Like, you want to see a finish. All these decisions, like, we need something to happen. Feel it. And a nice leg kick by Mike. Here comes Neil. Left, right, left. And Mike gets out of there. And I know Magny has finished people before, but it just doesn't seem like now against definitely some of the better fighters, but even some of the up-and-comers, like, he might grind out a victory, but he just doesn't seem like a finisher. (13-7) Mike in significant strikes. 12 of those 13 leg kicks, though. Fans reluctant to boo in this fight just because they got a Canadian fighter in it. So normally when it's two guys that, you really don't care who wins. You just want to see a good fight. You want to see a finish, but they're not going to boo the Canadian fighter because they don't want him to take a chance and get finished. But at some point, you got to do something. What Mike's doing right now is just chopping away with them leg kicks, man. 13-1. Come on, Neil. You're supposed to have a reach. You're supposed to have a reach. Neil's got a counter off them leg kicks. Dang, man, we need some action. We need some action. 10 seconds left. We're not going to get it in this round. It's going to be 14-7. Yeah, 14-7 now. Significant strikes for Mike after round one. So he likely won that round. No takedowns, just 21 seconds of control time against the fence. So it wasn't even that long. Both fighters stood and traded, but you look at Neil Magny, he's way under his average. Mike's way under his average. He's at like 2.8 significant strikes a minute right now. Neil's at like 1.4. Man, it's just, the average is 4 per minute just for a regular fighter. I mean, they're very slow-paced fight. And in trying to listen to what Neil's corner is saying, there doesn't seem to a sense of urgency even from the coaches yet. So he's comfortable where he's at, but there should be a little sense of urgency because you can't afford another round like that. Go down 2-0. And now what will Mike do in the second round? Will he continue to go after Magny with the leg kicks? Some of them were effective. Now it's Neil with a leg kick. Come on, Neil. Yep. So Neil's moving forward now a lot more. He's number 13 in division, right? Sliding though. So he needs a win here, where his time's going to be short in the UFC. Come on, Neil. Come on, Neil. Get it going, man. Shoot. And Neil's the one that's forced to pressure here. He comes in, he takes a left. But this fight is completely being dictated by Mike Malott. The pace, the leg strikes to keep Neil back. So where Neil would normally get comfortable with his distance and kind of keep guys at distance, Mike's kind of shutting that down with the leg kicks, right? Which is frustrating him. Absolutely. Now he comes in with a left and a right, but then he gives up a takedown. Now you got Mike on top, and that takes away the height advantage for sure. Both guys battling now. He's got a half guard in on the left leg. Mike's trying to get to the full mount. It's not going to be easy. And he's close. But Neil does a good job. Shoves him off with the leg kicks. He gets right back on. And Mike's standing up. Neil's on his back. Man, he gets back to his feet here. 2 minutes gone, round 2. We're almost halfway through the fight. You know, and Mike's a good fighter, but is he on the level of Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, Usman, all that? I don't see it. Number one, he's not that big. But he certainly looked good against Neil Magny right now as he lands a takedown. And the crowd's loving this. Now he's looking at the triangle here. He lets it go. Now Mike's trying to shift the side control, but Magny's preventing it. Magny takes a left. Come on, Neil. Get off your back, man. Gosh, man. Mike is relentless on the ground here. Come on, man. You got to get up, baby. You got to get up. Let's go, Neil. But when he can't do nothing, man, Mike's just relentless on the ground. Now a nice hammer there. Magny tries to shove him off with the leg kicks. And Magny's going to try to get to his feet. He can't. Mike gets right back on top here. Oh, he transitions to full. He's in the full mount. Look out. Neil Magny's holding on right now. 1:15 left in the round. Yep. And Mike lifts up and he pounds away. But Magny doing enough to just try to keep him off balance. 1 minute left. That's a long time to stay in this position. Mike's pounding away, forces Magny to give up his back. Mike can't take advantage of it. Yep, now he's definitely got the back. Nope. Magny goes back to his back, and now he grabs on again. And Magny's just trying to run out the clock here. I think he knows he's not getting up. Man, and Mike is dominating this round 30-13 in significant strikes. Come on, man. Dang. And this is why there should have been more of a sense of urgency in Magny's corner. Better coaching. Give him some instruction. Because now, 15 seconds left, he does get out of the round. Let's say you're down 2-0. And now Mike can do this in the third round and just run away with it. Boy, Mike's pounding away here. Neil in a little bit of trouble, but he'll hold on and get to the bell. So round 3 coming up. And now Neil looks frustrated, as he should. He should have looked frustrated after the first round. 37-13. Gotta be kidding me, man. 2 takedowns, 326 of control. Just and Mike Malott, 1 round away from being ranked in the top 15. This would be a huge win for him. And I think at this point, the Canadians, they want to see a finish, but they want to see a Canadian fighter win more than anything. So there's going to be no booing in this round. There's not going to be any push to get a finish unless it's there, right? At this point, Canada just needs a win tonight from a men's fighter. And this is the last chance to do it. So that's what's at stake here. Round 3 started. Here we go. And Neil Magny is going to need to finish. I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Ooh. Come on, Neil. Oh, man. Neil goes right to the ground. Dang it. Man, a Mike can do this for 10 minutes, man. And Neil doing a good job on the ground, enough to not put himself in a bad position, but he gets out of one situation, he's in another as he stands himself up. Okay, Neil. Come on, baby, a little sense of urgency, man. And Mike lifts the leg. He's trying to take out the other to take him down. And Neil's holding on as much as he can, and Neil goes down. Nice move there by Mike Malott as he takes out the remaining leg on the ground. And Neil has no choice but to hit the canvas. And he's punching from his back, but it's not effective. Dang, man, Mike's just running away with this thing. He's just running away with this thing. And this is going to go down as just a very disappointing fight for Neil Magny if he doesn't create something here in the final 3:15. Come on, Neil. Yeah, Mike's just running the clock out. Lord. Neil Magny can't do anything. Now he's warned about grabbing the fence. And Mike stands up. Neil's kicking, but he's still on his back. Mike's in position. He's going to eventually lay back on him. He does. 2:30 left in the round, halfway through the round. Neil Magny running out of time. 41-16 in significant strikes. Man, this is just... There was a point where I really thought Neil Magny could do something 2-3 years ago. And it's just falling apart quickly for him. 2 minutes left. Mike just continues to run the clock. Now these two finally stand up. Neil's going to try to get the takedown, but he's putting himself in a rough position here. Ooh, and he slams Mike. Okay. Now Neil Magny's on top. He's got a minute 40 to work with. Oh, and some nice punches now by Neil. 1:30 left as he opens up a little bit. Ooh, looking for the full mount, but he's standing right over top of Mike. Ooh. Now Mike's trying to roll on the knee, looking for a knee bar. I don't think he has it, though. One minute left in the fight. Come on, Neil, you just got to let go now. I mean, you're not winning this fight without a finish. Come on now. Okay, Neil's got the full mount. Come on, Neil. Finish him, man. Finish him, Neil. This will be crazy, bro. This would be crazy. Come on, Neil. Finish him, Neil. Finish him, Neil. Let's go. Oh, my goodness. Come on, Neil. Come on. Finish him. Oh, my goodness. 25 seconds left. Oh, my goodness. This could be a 10-8. Mike's in. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And that's it. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And Mike can't believe it as he looks up at the ceiling. He goes down with 15 seconds left. 15 seconds to win the fight. Maybe you get a 10-8, but unbelievable comeback for Neil Magny. Wow. So forget everything I said for the last 14 minutes because it's now irrelevant. It's now irrelevant. Neil Magny gets the big TKO finish here. 4:45 into round 3. Unbelievable. He's going to move to 29-12, and that kind of saves his career for the moment. That saves his career because it was getting ready to be a bad story. So Magny slams him, sort of. And then he gets on top, and he's just in the full mount and pounds away, and Mike just covers up. And the ref is looking like surprised, like, I'm going to have to stop this thing. I'm going to have to stop this thing. And he can't believe it because there's only 15 seconds left, and the other guy was winning the whole time. But yeah, you see the replay 3 or 4 times now. The ref's got to jump in. So Neil Magny gets the big win here. Unbelievable. 15 seconds left before he loses the fight. He moves to 29-12 here, welterweight division. UFC 297. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. All right, listen, man, we're just getting started. 2 more fights to go. 2 more fights to go. 2 more fights to go. So stay tuned. We're coming back right after this. At Andrew Bordeaux says, when it comes to Bo Nickel, I think you should be fighting a tougher opponent. The UFC isn't typically the place to cut your teeth. And he's shown he can be a can crusher already. Just my opinion, although he said himself that he's on his first contract, so he doesn't mind taking it a little slow. Yeah, you can't blame Bo Nickel because if he goes undefeated on the first contract, guess what happens at renewal time? You get a big contract extension, new contract, then you start going after it. Nothing wrong with that. And this is a fighter taking his own career in his hands. He's putting it in his hands. We always talk about fighter pay. You got to control your own destiny in terms of pay. You got to market yourself. And how do you market yourself? You schedule 4 or 5 fights against guys you can beat and you KO them or submit them in the first or second round. And that's how you get a big contract. Don't listen to these other fighters. Only listen to anyone else when it comes to this stuff. They need to schedule fights they can win. And then it's re-up time. You dig? That's what Bo Nickel is trying to do, and you can't blame him right now. At Brannis, something says easy win for Alexander Rakic. I don't know about easy, man. First fight back. Look at what happened to Yuri against Pereira. First fight back. A little sluggish, a little nervous. Ring rust is what they call it. It was definitely evident in that fight. Yuri's going to be better in this fight. Rakic has to go through the same thing. So I think Rakic is going to lose that one. At Gamebred says, Arman will be champ soon. Really? Islam is running, keeps rejecting to fight him. He don't want to risk a loss before he retires or moves up in weight. And I can see that. I can see Islam wanting to move up in weight. And it's tough for him because Islam versus Edwards would be perfect for UFC 300. That would get people talking. But it doesn't seem like now that's going to happen. And again, what are the possibilities for the UFC when it comes to this thing? I don't know. At me.youtube and says, did you know Hamza is ill and looks horrible in his last photos? Let's just see how long he can get healthy first to speculate on when or who he's going to fight. Never know how bad it is. Could be career ending. You know, what he had before affected him for close to 2 years. Yeah, but see what I'm saying? We can't keep going through this. We can't, or else we're going to look back and say, man, he missed the boat. You got to take some risks sometimes. You got to get a fight scheduled and start getting your mind right. Because when guys have fights scheduled, it does something for them. Like Volkanovski talked about this in detail. Like how hard it is when you get done with a fight and you have no other fight scheduled. It's like it feeds you when you have a fight scheduled, even if it's 6 months out. Regardless of what you're going through today, 6 months out, you're going to be fine. 3 months out, you're really entering a hard training camp. But to sit around like this and let everything pass you by and think the UFC is just going to give you a title fight because you beat an unranked fighter in the division, it's not going to happen. Maybe it's going to happen. As a Hamza fan, I want it to happen. I'll probably tell you otherwise later, to be honest with you, because I believe in the guy. But just looking from the UFC's perspective, I don't see that happening. Hamza's got to get back on the horse as soon as possible. At March, it says Sugar will be champ. Sugar will put a stamp on this one. He already is champ. Yeah, he's going to beat Cheeto Vera, I think, this time around. The last loss was a fluke. The guy should be undefeated. At Damon Archery says, I don't think Hamza can beat Duplessis. Man, I don't know. On Hamza, I can't wait forever. At Danny says, he was able to finish Burns in the first round when he had his back on the canvas and applying ground and pound. Bad luck made the Brazilian manage to succeed and survive. So, yeah, I mean, it was a tough fight for Hamza. But listen, at the end of the day, as I always say, you got the win. And that's what matters. Could he have finished him? Yeah, but rough second round, crazy third round, and he gets a split decision. At Shogun Joe Boo says, zero interest in Paul Felder fighting Miller. Yeah, I agree. UFC is showing Zhang Weili as the main event, which look like I like watching her fight. But for a super hyped up card like that, heck to the no, man. Yeah. I mean, we keep getting played with this big 300 topic and nothing happens. Pandora says it seems like the UFC matchmakers want to schedule the boring Edwards versus Muhammad and Pineda versus Adesanya 3 light heavyweight title at UFC 300. Hamza will be out of the event of the year. I know. And that's the way it seems like it's going. The thing is, Hamza doesn't have Swedish passport. He was not a Swedish citizen, so he has a Russian passport. With this whole situation going on, it's hard for anyone to travel around the world with a Russian passport, especially for a Chechen. So, you know, that's all in the mix too. Hamza having a tough time, you know, traveling into the U.S., etc. So it is what it is. Bo Nickel will destroy him. His wrestling is next level when you're looking at him versus Cody Brundage. Take a deep breath and let it rain. Respect for Brundage, but no chance. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think Brundage has any chance to win this fight at all. You know, and a lot of topics going on right now with Hamza, with UFC 297, UFC 300. But first things first, man, we just got to get through this week and see how it plays out. We got to see how the week plays out. Because after this week, a lot of things are going to be open. Now, if this goes to a 5-round decision, then these guys aren't fighting at 300. But if you get a quick victory by one or the other, especially Dricus, I could see him and Adesanya fighting at 300. So a lot up for grabs this Saturday. In the Q&A, we got RG weighing in, says maybe there's more to come. Hopefully the main event hasn't been announced. I know. If the main event's been announced, we're in trouble. I mean, we are absolutely in trouble if the main event has already been announced. On Francis Ngannou taking on Anthony Joshua. Honestly, I kind of believe it too, laugh out loud. And, you know, Francis Ngannou is the underdog in this fight. That's the big story. It's wild to think, but at the same time, you know, he hasn't beaten anybody. So, unfortunately, I didn't see it that way, but he's 0-1. And he still has something to prove. So, of course, he's the underdog going into this fight. At Ojeda MMA says AJ about to pull out. Anthony Joshua, we'll see. The people who think Ngannou didn't beat Fury are just upset. Laugh out loud. At Carl, I believe him. It's open season on AJ. Yeah, so a lot of people believe in Ngannou. They want to see Ngannou get the win too because he was robbed in the last one. So now all of a sudden everyone's on his side. And, you know, I was and will be with you, no doubt. Math prodigy. It's always so funny to me how if Hamza is actually bad, why are top contenders always trying to dismiss him? Because they know how dangerous he is, straight up. He has beaten Burns and Usman at this point. Nobody cares if Jeff Neal is calling him out. He is a big player. Deserves title shot or title eliminator. Couldn't agree with you more. Perfectly said. Couldn't agree with you more. It's time for him to get his big fight. Time for him to get his opportunity, his due. And if he wins it, then it was worth it. If he loses it, then we got to go back to the drawing board. But I think he wins it. And, you know, that's what everybody wants to see if it's going to happen. At Ricky Lowe, it looks like if Dricus somehow pulls off 3 victories in his next 3 fights, based on his resume, he may already go down as one of the best middleweights, is what they're saying. I mean, yeah, if he goes on to win the next 3, because the next 3 will be Strickland, maybe Adesanya now, and then probably Hamza. If you win those 3, forget about it. If Hamza's not in the mix, then I don't care. Everybody's not the legitimate champion until Hamza gets a title fight. Evloev 17-0, not 17-8, yes. And I appreciate that correction, Can't believe I said that, you know. But it is what it is. Doesn't change the prediction in any way. That's the bottom line. The prediction is safe and sound as far as me not changing anything. Please believe it. But yeah, man, a lot to come here this weekend, the next few weeks. In terms of big fights, a middleweight title will be solidified, hopefully, one way or the other. And we'll be able to move on and see, you know, if these guys go into a 5-round battle, then they're not fighting at 300. If someone gets dropped in the first round, the winner is eligible at 300. So it's just going to matter how this fight plays out. And I think that's why the UFC is waiting, just to kind of see what happens. Now, as we shift focus to the co-main event, and I didn't know this, that this is for the vacant title. In the women's bantamweight division, you got Rockwell Pennington taking on Mayra Bueno Silva for the vacant title. Not Juliana Pena, but these two will fight for the belt. In the women's bantamweight division at UFC 297, you got Rockwell Pennington coming in at 15-9, taking on Mayra Bueno Silva, who comes in at 10-2. American versus Brazilian. Right now, it's the co-main event, unless something changes. Pennington 1 inch taller at 5'7". She's 35. Bueno Silva 32. Pennington has a 2-inch reach advantage. Both fighters stand right-handed. Both fighters just over 4 significant strikes per minute, so pretty active. Neither fighter really lands a lot of takedowns, so we're going to have an active fight on defeat. Now, Pennington hasn't lost in a while. 5 straight wins over Ketlin Vera, Aspen, Ladd, Macy Chiasson. So some big wins there for her. I got to say it. Some big wins. Now, Bueno Silva, no contest against Holly Holm. But before that was on a little bit of a roll, beating Wu Yanan, Stephanie Ager, and Lena Landsberg. So, you know, both fighters really capable of winning this thing. Bueno Silva, really good fighter, and in fact, she's the favorite, but I disagree. I like Rockwell Pennington to win this fight. She's on an impressive run. Her numbers are picking up fight by fight. It's a pretty close and even fight. And when it's that close and even, I got to look at who has the momentum. And Rockwell Pennington has the momentum with 5 straight wins. Look for her to get the W here on sure will. Rockwell Pennington wins with the 16-9. In my opinion, women's bantamweight division, UFC 297. Yeah, it's funny. Like, sometimes I do these and I don't remember who I'm picking, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, you better pick Pennington. You better pick Rockwell Pennington. Don't do it, crisscross. And luckily I came through for myself because I couldn't remember who I picked. But yeah, I like Pennington to win this thing. She's going to win the belt and then have to fight Pena. And that's going to be a big fight, in my opinion. I just see it going that way. I think Rockwell Pennington is due. The time is now. Nunes vacated the belt. Pena can't go. And this is the best chance both fighters really are going to get for a title. And probably will lose it in the first defense. So that's why they got to grab it right now. I'm looking forward to this fight for sure. No doubt about it.
Yes! Yes! Whoa! Boom! 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 Dude!
You're watching the Community MMA. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Yes! 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 Whoa!
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Rockwell Pennington is walking to the octagon with a record of 15-9 and an opportunity to capture the belt. That's a storyline that's happening right now. Rockwell Pennington is 15-9 and has run off, I think, 4, maybe 5 fights in a row to get this opportunity. But it's highly impressive. Very impressive. Mayra Bueno Silva, no joke. And it just dawned on me during the quick break there, leading up to this co-main event, that this is a 5-round fight. And I promise you, if we had to wait 5 rounds to see Sean Strickland and Dricus do Plessis, then It's just not right. Both fighters look extremely focused. And I tried to tell you in the prediction and the lead up this week to this fight is that I don't think either fighter gets this opportunity in any other day. It's that the title is vacant. Two top contenders get an opportunity. Rockwell Pennington is just, after being 10-9 or something like that, has just rocketed her way to the top of the division and put herself in this position to get the belt. Just impressive. She's number 2. Bueno Silva number 3. Juliana Pena, who's out right now, is number 1. So she'll obviously fight the winner of this fight. Someone will jump the champ. It won't affect Juliana Pena either way. She'll still be the number 1 contender and likely next champion, to be honest with you. And that's why this fight is crazy. Because someone's going to be crowned. 99% chance, barring a draw, someone is getting crowned as the successor to Amanda Nunes. That's the bottom line. So as both fighters have entered the octagon, we're just moments away from this bantamweight title fight, co-main event, right ahead of the middleweight title between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. So just hold tight, man. It's coming. It's coming. We had to wait a full fight, last fight, except the final 15 seconds, before we got a finish from Neil Magny, which I still can't believe. But we're here now. Bruce Buffer doing his thing. The lights are going out. Everyone's getting pumped up. The Canadian crowd is in shock because every male Canadian fighter has lost tonight. And I don't know how many there were. Guess I could look real quick. Yeah, Mike Mallet fall. Marc-Andre Barriault fell. Brad Katona fell. Charles Jourdain fell. Man, Johan Linnes fell. Malcolm Gordon fell. That's crazy. On the other hand, Jasmine Jasudavicius won for the Canadians. Jillian Robertson won on the women's side. So it's the women really doing their thing tonight for Canada, but not the men. That's where we stand. And Myra Bueno Silva is fired up. She gets announced in right now. You see her face. She's fired up. And we'll wait on Rockwell Pennington. And this thing is on. And she's a striker. Make no bones about it. Lands less than 1 takedown in an average fight. So she's trying to stand and strike. Both fighters over 4 significant strikes per minute. So it's pretty close. Now, Bueno Silva has the takedown game. So that's something to keep an eye on. That could be a problem if she can get the fight to the ground. But we'll see. So once again, let's set the table. UFC 297, women's bantamweight titles on the line, the successor to Amanda Nunes. You got Rockwell Pennington at 15-9. You got Myra Bueno Silva at 10-2. And this fight's about 10 seconds away, roughly, from kicking off as both fighters walk their way back to the fence. And what's got to be going through their head? Both of them are seconds away potentially from putting the belt around their waist. And with Amanda Nunes ruling the women's division, it's like no one else is really, Pena beat her. She came back and beat Pena. No one's really had a chance. Had all these fighters come and go, but Nunes, controlled it at the top. Now she's gone, and you're going to have a floodgate of fighters coming up. You're probably going to have the belt switch hands several times. And that's why this fight is so big, because who's going to be the first one? And one of them not likely a champion 2 years ago. You're not looking at him as being definitely not Pennington. And probably not Bueno Silva, because you're always comparing them to Amanda Nunes. But not now. They're their own separate fighters. First 45 seconds gone, and already Bueno Silva's tying up Pennington, which is going to take away her striking ability, for sure. And the problem with this is Myra can do this for 25 minutes. And Rockwell gets out of it. So here we go. Boom. Big right by Pennington. Come on, Pennington. Don't back off here. Keep moving forward. Yeah, you're going to take a few leg kicks, but you'll be all right. Move forward. Rockwell grabs a leg. She's looking for a takedown. But now Bueno Silva's got something locked in. She lets go, lands a left, and now a left elbow. Meanwhile, her left leg is up in the air. Now they shove off, and here we go. First 2 minutes gone. No feeling out period in this one. And you got the obvious strategies. You got Bueno Silva who wants to tie up, maybe get the fight to the ground, control position. And you got Pennington who wants to get Myra off of her and strike. And that's going to be like a pain in Pennington's butt all night. But, you know, with our pick, we're saying she's going to get past it. So we'll have to wait and see. And we'll update those picks soon. It hasn't been a good night. But Neil Manny definitely helped in the last fight. Ooh, she's got the back of Pennington now very quickly. Now Pennington's got to hold all that weight. Dang it. And these are those tough fights because, you know me, I like the strikers. But you got to be able to defend positions against some. You know there's going to be a good grappler or two or four. And that's the big test here for Pennington. So I'm rooting for the striker. But it is a problem when these fighters can just make you hold their weight. Like right now, Bueno Silva has got her legs wrapped around the waist of Pennington. She's on her back, and Pennington's standing up. So eventually those legs are just going to weaken. It's like she's just slowly wearing down Pennington, who's constantly battling to try to defend herself. 120 left in round one. Dang. Stay tuned after this fight. During the next break, we got UFC 300 news. Hamza Chimaev back in the news, especially in the news with this week's big middleweight title on the line. And then, of course, the big prediction for Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Under 40 seconds left in the round. And Bueno Silva still has the back of Pennington. They're both seated on the ground. And this is going to continue for 25 minutes if Pennington cannot get out of these positions. And it doesn't seem like she can so far. And Bueno Silva's, down to the final 10. She's going to finish with about 320 of control here in the first round. And that's not a good look for Pennington. But, the bell rings and she gets a fresh start. So we'll see. 16-8 in significant strikes for the Brazilian. 11-4 in head strikes. 320 of control on 2 takedowns. And if Rockwell can't change something, it's going to be a long night. Long night for everybody involved. And see, Pennington's a type that she's going to try to go hard in the first round and try to just wear you down, and she's going to catch you later. But it didn't seem like that strategy was even in play in round one. It was just all Myra Bueno Silva. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, Bueno Silva versus Pena is intriguing. I think Pena beats her. but I have to look at everything first. But that's intriguing. It's also intriguing for Rockwell Pennington to face her because Pennington can strike with anybody. She's got a striker's chance in any fight. And here we go, round 2's underway. Man, the more the fight goes on, I want to see Pennington win this fight because it's so tough to do against someone who's going to continue to try to get takedowns on. Now Pennington's really throwing here in the first 30 seconds of round 2. You can see she's trying to make sure that Bueno Silva doesn't, Bueno's just reaching out right now and she reaches and grabs her again. Dang it. That was too easy. So Pennington had it going for like 35 seconds, but as soon as Silva gets into her body, all that's out of play. And the fans are booing. This is the last thing they want to see. Because it's what they've seen all night. The clock just tick. Nothing big happened. And yeah, we got to finish in the Neil Magny fight before. But the crowd's not even happy about that because their fighter went down. So as far as the crowd's concerned, they haven't seen a happy finish all the way back to probably Jillian Robertson in like the 3rd or 4th fight of the night. After that, you had a lot of decisions. You had Neil Magny get the finish with 15 seconds left against Mike Mallet, who's a crowd favorite. So they're not happy right now. But there's a title on the line, and you're hoping for something big to happen. Pennington leaning up against Silva on the fence, and now she opens up and throws some strikes, and those are big. Get her off of you, Pennington. Come on. There we go. Okay, and now it's shifting Pennington's way a little bit. Now shove her off. Shove her off, bro. Come on, man. Gosh, when they're separated, Pennington looks great. And Pennington's winning this round right now. She hasn't given up a takedown. She's just being held up against the fence, but it's clear when they separate that she's leading in significant strikes in this round. So, she's got to win this round right now. Because she did nothing in round 1. Okay, now get her off. Get her off, Rockwell. Come on, Rockwell, get her off. Some nice body shots by Bueno Silva. Now Pennington lands a right, and they separate. Nice. Yeah, if she can keep her off, she's going to win this fight, man. Those punches are landing. Myra doesn't like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pennington's picking up the pace. It's starting to go her way a little bit now. Yeah. Those clinches don't seem as strong for Myra here in the 2nd round. Yeah, separate. I know. She needs to separate, man. What? Why are you trying to tie up? Yeah, get off. There you go. Boom. Nice left. Okay. Okay. I don't understand why Pennington is holding. This is going to make me nuts, man. Shove off. She's up 31-3 in significant strikes. So why are you up against the fence? Come on. Pennington trying to get out of this, but now Bueno Silva's climbing up the back once again, forcing her to hold that weight. And this is Pennington's fault. She was throwing them strikes. Oh, the rear's locked in. No. Oh, my goodness. Myra's close. Boy, and Pennington shoving off slowly. Ooh, she gets out of it. Oh, my gosh. All Pennington's fault. You're landing big strikes and then you clinch. Why? Like, this is what Bueno Silva wants to do. And this fight goes to the ground. 15 seconds left. But Myra continues to take the back. But, you know, what I will say is, as we go into round 3, Pennington has a better and better chance at the striking because Myra's slowing down. She made a mistake there. The bell is rung, and her corner needs to light her up in the round, when she sits down. They need to light her up. There you go. Yep. Yeah, piecing her up, but why is she clinching, bro? You almost got finished on because you clinched. Now Bueno Silva's corner is kind of screaming at her. Yeah, so Silva's corner is saying we got to assume we're losing 0-2. It's really probably 1-1, to be honest with you. But Pennington's starting to pick up the pace for sure in round 2. 31-3 in the round. Now she's up 40-26 in significant strikes, 35-16 in head strikes. And yeah, Bueno Silva's got the 6 minutes of control, but she didn't get a takedown in this round. That's the key. No takedown this round. Let's go, Pennington. Come on, Pennington. Round 3 is underway. And I expect something big from her in this round, or at worst, the 4th. There you go. Well, they're swinging now. See? And all Bueno Silva's doing is keeping her hands out, looking to grab. It's like, how do you fall for that? And she's totally comfortable in the clinch. Now Rockwell spins her. But they're both tied up along the fence. And they're kind of more or less spinning each other slowly at this point, trying to get in a better position. Clinch strikes, 36-36. So it's not like Pennington's doing, in the first round she got taken down and controlled. Since then, in the clinch, it's pretty even. When they're separated, Pennington is dominating. And Myra just continuing to build up control time. How much that plays into the refs' counting remains to be seen. But she's definitely building up control time, nearly 7 minutes worth. But just 2 takedowns, and both of those came in the first round. Ooh. And Myra almost had a full mount. Pennington spins out of it, and they're both back to their feet, but stuck in the clinch again. Man. Oh, get out of that, Rockwell. Get out of that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Boy, she got out of that, luckily. Lands a left elbow. And this is a battle, but it's just weird. You just don't get the feel when it's for the women's title. It's hard to believe. And a nice elbow by Myra. Again, she's number 3 in the division. Pennington number 2. Title is on the line. And I think everybody just wants to see a big finish, regardless of who wins at this point. Yeah, the fans are starting to boo. Here we go. Too much clinch, man. Oh, here we go. All right. Now don't let her grab you again. Nice elbow by Myra. And I'm surprised in this round. I really thought we'd see more striking from Pennington, but it's been the opposite. It's been Myra continue to control position here. Okay. Now it's Pennington on top. Nice. She's got side control. She's looking for a submission here, but she's not going to get it. Yeah, if she can get to that full mount. But I don't think it's going to happen. And just let her up. Let her up at this point. Let her up. Fans are booing. Rockwell's on her feet. She could easily back up and let her up, and she finally does. And the ref forces her up. Now Pennington throwing some nice body shots. Nice elbow by Myra. And we're right back into the clinch. You know, it's easy watching from the sidelines like me right now. But it's like there's got to be a better way to keep her off of you. There just has to be. But instead, Myra just continues to go right in and clinch. And again, how this plays into the judge's decision, I don't know. But Pennington keeps being put in bad positions. Now she's on top right now with 20 seconds to go. But I don't think there's enough time for something big to happen. We'll see. She lands a right, another right. All right, that's the bell. Round 3 is done. I had a feeling we're going to be in here for 5 rounds. It's been one of those nights. Pennington getting up slow. Silva getting up slow. And see, I like the way Bueno Silva's corner approaches this thing. They're constantly frustrated with her, upset with her, saying she's exposing herself, even though she's in control most of the time. Rockwell Pennington's coach is just giving her instructions. I don't think there's enough sense of urgency in the corner here for Rockwell Pennington. But I said that about Neil Magny, and he ended up getting the finish. So the fight's not over till the final second, as we saw. But if Rockwell wants to win this belt, a.k.a. Rocky, she's got to go for it, man. She's up 60-41 in significant strikes. But she's down by like 4 minutes in control time. And we've seen varying decisions when things are so different like that. And a big right to start the round by Rocky, and then the left and a right. Okay, now she's going to reach and try to grab you. Just keep her off. Keep her off. Get you a full minute of striking. Here comes Bueno Silva. She's already looking for it. See? Here she goes with the hands around the back. Come on, man. Same thing every time. Right. That's what their corner should have been saying from the get-go. Get away from Bueno Silva and strike, please. Does anyone really think at this point that either fighter is going to beat Juliana Pena? I don't think so. Fans booing now. And it would be wild if it was like Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev when that was such a terrible fight. Similar situation to this with a vacant title on the line, and those guys fought to a draw. Like, the belt is there for you to take. You got to take it. Now Bueno Silva looks to drag her to the middle. Come on, Rockwell, get those hands off. And if Myra wins this way, it's going to be one of the weirdest championship wins of all time, because it's just straight hold on to you, climb up your back, try to drag you to the ground, back up. And it just continues. Now, Bueno Silva looking for a submission here. Boy, she's got the rear locked in again. And this one's tighter, much tighter than the last one. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And Myra is squeezing, but Pennington's not. Oh, boy. Oh, she got out of it again, bro. Oh, my gosh. Come on, Pennington. We could use another American champion, even if it's for only one fight. You got her, then you got Sean O'Malley. For now, you got Sean Strickland. You got John Jones. And I'm missing somebody, but it's all right. Got to create things to talk about during this 25-minute marathon. And Pennington's back on top. And that is a good point from Dean Thomas, like the experience factor of both of these going 5 rounds. They're not used to this. So we're in uncharted territory right now for both fighters, as far as I know. And an armbar attempt now from Bueno Silva. That's not going to work. As Rockwell's still inside. She's pounding away from on top. 1 minute left. Round 4. And a couple hammers. Not very strong, but she landed. Oh, and she comes back in with a big left. Oh, and a triangle attempt here. And a lot of people right now are scratching their head. You know, and it's easier to look from the outside once again, but you got to be wondering, why is Rocky continually in the clinch with Bueno Silva? Because that's right where Bueno Silva wants to be. It's like, as long as you're in the clinch, Bueno Silva is somewhat comfortable. And a couple rights by Pennington, now a right elbow. And a hammer. She's finishing this round strong, that's for sure. And I'll tell you right now, who's leading this fight? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Because Pennington lost the first round. Okay, so Bueno Silva wins the first round. I got to believe that Myra won one of the last 3 rounds. So at worst, it's tied. Pennington could very easily be up 3-1 at the same time. So round 5 is going to be important. Now Myra's corner saying you can't be body to body with her. And she has struggled at it since round 1, only having 1 takedown. It's 850 of control to 710, so that's closed up a little bit. So the stats would indicate, not when you watch the fight so much, but the stats would indicate that Rockwell is starting to close the gap in control time and really pulling away in significant strikes. So if Rockwell can have a big 5th round, you got to believe she's going to win the fight. But the same could be said the other way. Here we go. Who wants it? Who wants it? Let's go. Come on, man. Let's go, Rocky. Okay. Gosh. Right to the clinch. I don't understand. I know, it's like Myra's corner saying, don't clinch. And that's exactly what she wants to do. So it's kind of odd. I mean, she's not going to win this fight on her feet. That's for sure. So she's got to clinch with Rockwell in order to kind of slow her down. And even with that, she hasn't slowed her down too much. I mean, she has, but Pennington is still up by what, 36, 37 significant strikes right now. So she's fighting Myra's game and winning. Arm triangle here. Oh my gosh. Come on, Pennington. Submission attempt here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Myra's holding on. Myra is holding on. I can't believe she hasn't tapped yet. She gives a thumbs up. Now Pennington's trying to get to a full mount. Yes. So she's on a full mount, so that's probably going to take away the triangle. And man, Myra's so tired right now that Pennington can really go for it. Forget the submission attempt, which is, but she can't get it to where it's going to be a finish. If I'm her, I'm just starting to drop some punches and elbows, that's for sure. And she's still trying to go for it. And Myra's grabbing at her shoulder, so it's obviously causing her some discomfort, but not like enough for her to tap. And man, Pennington has really taken over here on the ground. Unbelievable. Beating now Myra at her own game. Now Myra's going to her stomach. God, I would love to see Pennington get a finish here to win the belt. Come on. Forget a decision. And you see the control time difference. Myra dominating the first two rounds, and Pennington dominating rounds 3, 4, and 5. And I think if this round continues this way, Rocky wins the belt. But I'd much rather see her get a finish. Much rather see her get the finish. Let's go. I don't think we're going to get the finish, man. 1 minute left. 24 minutes gone, so. Pennington definitely finishing the strike in dominating fashion right now. 45 seconds left. And certainly now becoming more clear that she's, definitely becoming clear that she's winning this fight. Just dominate round 5. And that's how you want to finish it. Make no mistake about it. She's on her feet, landing some leg kicks, crowd's booing, because we're headed to another decision. So you're looking at like 6 or 7 straight fights of decisions or when a Canadian fighter lost. So the crowd is definitely not happy right now. Final 10 seconds, and Pennington's on her way to winning the belt. Not in the way you'd want to, but, And no one's really going to believe in this division for a while. With Nunes gone, no one's really going to believe in this division. This fight didn't help that at all. I mean, at all. But the bottom line is we're going to have a new women's champion here momentarily. That's what it appears. And it's going to be Rockwell Pennington. So, and it looks like her family and friends are hugging out there, and it's looking like she's going to get the belt. And I'll tell you what, we'll take it because we were hurting. I think we're still down, and I think we're like 5 and 6 on a night. It's just ridiculous. But put together back-to-back wins now with Pennington and Neil Magny coming through, kind of saving the day for right now. And if we can get this fight and the main event, start out the year 2-0, we'll take a 500 night, take a 6-6 night, you know. Not what we want, but it is what it is. So as we see the replay, and as we just saw, round 5, all Rockwell Pennington, and I believe she's on her way to taking over the women's bantamweight title. And that's good for her, because then your next fight, you're getting paid more, right? You're a champion for at least the next 6 months to a year. And you can take advantage of stuff like that in your life. So here we go. Big moment for both fighters. And I'll say, 48-47, maybe 49-46, Pennington. So we'll see. Here we go. 49-46, 49-46, 49-45. It's got to be Pennington. Let's go. And no! Rockwell Pennington gets the belt, baby. You know, again, not the way you'd want, but the bottom line is the belt is around her waist, and she is the successor to Amanda Nunes. And again, no one's going to believe this for a while. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for this to, you know, settle in, and maybe for some time for Nunes to be gone. But the bottom line is Rockwell Pennington wins the strap here at UFC 297, and she's just 16-9. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So let's take a quick break. We're going to get into, during the break, we're going to get into UFC 300, Hamza, the big prediction for Strickland and Duplessis. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back very shortly. We think Dricus du Plessis is going to win the fight. And he's going to win it soundly. I mean, he looks like a different fighter since he got the nose repaired. It seems like he's on target to win the belt, and he's talking as though he has already won the belt. That's the key here. He's talking as though he already won the belt. And then he goes after Hamza, right? He's coming after Hamza. But before we go further into that, you see Dricus and Sean Strickland 15-16 in the top 20 on the dude list. Someone's jumping way up into the top 10. It's just I'm just kind of waiting for this fight. And of course, you know, Hamza is number 1 on the dude list right now. John Jones 2, Islam, Alex, Leon, Charles Oliveira rounding out the top 6. And you can see all the way to number 10 there, Israel Adesanya. He's still in the mix. In the middleweight division, Strickland's a champ, Dricus number 2. Adesanya's still 1. If Dricus wins, Adesanya drops to 2. So that's kind of where this thing sits. And exactly what I told you what happened to Hamza is starting to happen, because if our prediction comes true, and that's why we played this thing right off the top. If Dricus wins, he's already saying, who is Hamza beat? I mean, who is the guy beat? Struggled with Gilbert Burns. Beat Usman. His last real middleweight win was against Gerald Meerschaert. That came in 17 seconds. So Dricus is saying it's ridiculous that he will fight Hamza next, and that Adesanya is more likely to get the fight. And this is why, again, Hamza is going to have trouble getting fights from opponents. Why would Adesanya fight Hamza right now? There's nothing to gain and everything to lose. If Dricus wins, he's up next. If Sean Strickland wins, then maybe he does fight Hamza. And this is why you have a UFC 300. You're waiting for things to happen. A lot is going to come from this fight this week at UFC 297. If Sean Strickland wins, then Strickland waits for 6 to 8 months before he defends it again. If Dricus wins and he wins quick, you never know. You could see a quick turnaround at 300 against Adesanya. You just never know. And that's kind of why it's going this way. But in terms of Hamza, he's going to get put on the back burner, is likely not going to get a title fight in his next fight. And that's what I said in the how do you offer the winner of him and Usman a title fight? They're not even really middleweights ranked in that division. I mean, it was absurd. But guess what? You got the fight done. and you kept Hamza on the card at that time. You remember with Paulo Costa pulling out? So you keep Hamza on the card, you tell him what he needs to hear, and you get him to fight, and it turns out he won the fight. But he's not getting a title fight in his next fight. That's the problem with all this. UFC 300 is falling apart. We got a BMF title on the line. We got a China versus China women's strawweight title on the line. But this isn't nearly what we thought we were getting when we were lining this thing up. We thought we were getting a big-time fight. There better be at the top of the card. If there's a big-time fight at the top of the card, the rest of it will come through. Because the other fights are interesting, but they're not good enough to be the big main event just yet. So people are freaking out. But everybody settle down, because I do believe in the UFC. I believe the UFC will come through in this thing. I do. I believe the UFC will come through at UFC 300. Now for UFC 300, the main event, who's still out there? Alex Pereira's out there. John Jones is can't go. Leon Edwards is out there. There's some guys that are still out there, but you can't have Leon Edwards versus Bilal. You can't have Pereira versus a third or fourth contender in the division. It's got to be someone that comes out of nowhere like a Hamza. So, these are some of the options for the UFC. I just don't know how they're going to pull this thing off. I really don't, because it's taken a while for a reason. And then how quickly is this middleweight title fight finished this Saturday? Can these guys, one of them, if they run through the other, can they bounce back in 3 months? These are some of the things that are the UFC's waiting to see. And they got time. They definitely got time. They got another month. And we'll have to wait. It's unanimous. 49-46. Woo! Unbelievable. And no! Let's go! Wow, bro. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. At one point, you had Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou rule the top 3 divisions. And now you got 3 Americans up there. We're going to start it off with Dricus, Du Plessis, and Sean Strickland, because already Du Plessis is calling out Hamza, saying who has he fought. So let's get to right away to Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis prediction, so we can make our prediction and then go forward with how we think this thing is going to play out. In the middleweight division, for the middleweight division title at UFC 297, you got Sean Strickland coming in at 28-5, taking on Dricus Du Plessis, who comes in at 20-2. So let's get into this. This is going to be a great middleweight title fight. Anything can happen. Both guys stand 6'1". They're the same height. Both guys have a 76-inch reach. Strickland stands right-handed. Du Plessis, we know, can switch it up and go righty or lefty at any given time. Now, in terms of activity, that leans slightly towards Du Plessis. Nearly 7 significant strikes per minute to 5.8 for Sean Strickland. In terms of the takedowns, Sean Strickland gets like 1 over the course of 3 rounds, maybe 1 in a 5-round fight. Du Plessis can land 1 on average per round. So advantage goes to Du Plessis in both takedowns and significant strikes per minute. Now, Sean Strickland has an 84% takedown defense. That will help here. And he gets those defense situations in terms of, stopping the takedowns, because he's got that lead leg, always going forward. It's hard for guys to go in. When they go in, they can't get the takedowns. Now he's on a roll, right? He beat Israel Adesanya for the belt. He beat Abus Magomedov by KO. Beat Nazaruddin Amavov by decision. But before then, he struggled a little bit. Lost to Jared Cannonier and lost to Alex Pereira. So it's not like he's unstoppable. He's capable of being beat. And to me, he won't be champion very long. Whether it's this fight or the next one, he's going to lose eventually. Now, Du Plessis has a 40% takedown defense, but that won't hurt him too much in this fight. He's coming off several wins in a row, right? Against Robert Whittaker by KO. Derek Brunson, KO. He submitted Darren Till and beat Brad Tavares by decision. So this guy wins, right? 20 out of 22 times. And in this matchup, it's real simple to me. I'd love to see Sean Strickland win, because I think that'd be an easier matchup for Hamza Chimaev. And you know how I feel about Hamza. But the fact is Du Plessis is just a better fighter. And since he had the nose surgery, he seems to be breathing better. He looked great in his last fight against Robert Whittaker. Dropped the former champ in the second round by KO. So to me, this is an easy one. He's more active. He lands more takedowns. And he's highly likely to steal the belt from Sean Strickland. Now, Sean Strickland creates matchup problems for any opponent. But in this one, it's all du Plessis. He's going to take the title. And then it's going to be a much more interesting fight with him taking on the next challenger, which should be Khamzat Chimaev if the UFC holds true to its word. But in my opinion, du Plessis wins this fight, likely by KO. Sometime in the third or fourth round, he'll start to tire Strickland down. Could be earlier, but likely a KO by the third or fourth round. Du Plessis steals the belt to move to 21-2, middleweight division for the middleweight title at UFC 297. Yeah, so we think Dricus du Plessis is going to win the fight. And he's going to win it soundly. I mean, he looks like a different fighter since he got the nose repaired. It seems like he's on target to win the belt, and he's talking as though he has already won the belt. That's the key here. He's talking as though he already won the belt. And then he goes after Khamzat, right? He's coming after Khamzat. But before we go further into that, you see Dricus and Sean Strickland 15-16 in the top 20 on the dude list. Someone's jumping way up into the top 10. It's just I'm just kind of waiting for this fight. And of course, you know, Khamzat is number 1 on the dude list right now. John Jones 2, Islam, Alex, Leon, Charles Oliveira rounding out the top 6. And you can see all the way number 10 there, Israel Adesanya. He's still in the mix. In the middleweight division, Strickland's a champ, Dricus number 2, Adesanya's still 1. If Dricus wins, Adesanya drops to 2. So that's kind of where this thing sits. And exactly what I told you would happen to Khamzat is starting to happen, because if our prediction comes true, and that's why we played this thing right off the top. If Dricus wins, he's already saying, who is Khamzat beat? I mean, who is the guy beat? Struggled with Gilbert Burns, beat Usman. His last real middleweight win was against Gerald Meerschaert. That came in 17 seconds. So Dricus is saying it's ridiculous that he will fight Khamzat next, and that Adesanya is more likely to get the fight. And this is why, again, Khamzat is going to have trouble getting fights from opponents. Why would Adesanya fight Khamzat right now? There's nothing to gain and everything to lose. If Dricus wins, he's up next. If Sean Strickland wins, then maybe he does fight Khamzat. And this is why you have a UFC 300. You're waiting for things to happen. A lot is going to come from this fight this week at UFC 297. If Sean Strickland wins, then Strickland waits for 6 to 8 months before he defends it again. If Dricus wins and he wins quick, you never know. You could see a quick turnaround at 300 against Adesanya. You just never know. And that's kind of why it's going this way. But in terms of Khamzat, he's going to get put on the back burner, is likely not going to get a title fight in his next fight. And that's what I said in the how do you offer the winner of him and Usman a title fight? They're not even really middleweights ranked in that division. I mean, it was absurd. But guess what? You got the fight done. And you kept Khamzat on the card at that time. You remember with Paulo Costa pulling out? So you keep Khamzat on the card, you tell him what he needs to hear, and you get him to fight, and it turns out he won the fight. But he's not getting a title fight in his next fight. That's the problem with all this talk. That's just the way it's going to pan out. Please believe it.
Yes! Yes! Wow! Boom! 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 Dude!
You're watching the Community MMA. And now, back to your host, Chris Cross.
Yes! 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 Wow!
Yes. Yes. Let's go. Main event time, baby. Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis. It's about to go down. Sean Strickland making his way to the octagon right now. So we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from fight time. So everyone just relax, calm down, And I feel like I'm really talking to myself because I'm nervous for no reason. Because I really don't have. It really don't matter to me who wins this fight, other than the fact that we picked Dricus to win the fight, which means we're predicting America to lose the belt here. You know, just in looking at the fight. I mean, we like Dricus du Plessis to get the win. But let's take a look at where we stand on the night. It's not pretty. You hear the roar of the crowd as Sean Strickland begins, or is about halfway on his walk to the octagon. So we're about 3 minutes away. But when you look on the night, man, it's not pretty. You know, we got the last three, though. Chris Curtis, Neil Magny, and Pennington. This tends to happen to us a lot. But you look in the first, 6 fights where we fell to 2-4. Then lost Katona and Allen. Then we're 2-6. Now we're back to 5-6. So if we can get Dricus du Plessis to win this fight, and we finish 6-6 but get the main event, at least we'll be 2-0 there. If Dricus falls, it's going to be a terrible night. Absolutely would be a terrible night. So the crowd's going crazy. Why? Because Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis are about to throw down for one of the most prestigious belts in all of combat sports. The middleweight division, 185 pounds. I mean, this is the belt, to me, that's prestigious. I like the light heavyweight too. Of course, the heavyweight division. The welterweight's big as well. The lightweight is ridiculous. But, you know, to get the middleweight belt, that's that 185-pound mark. To me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And this division will always be highly contested. And now with, you know, Adesanya out the way, at least now. And when I say out the way, he's no longer like the unstoppable champion that no one's going to beat. So now all of a sudden you have Sean Strickland steps into the title. You got Dricus du Plessis here on the march. Anything can happen. Khamzat Chimaev is coming. Bo Nickel is coming. All the old heads like Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier, Paulo Costa, all those guys are falling by the wayside because you just have a wealth of new fighters, relatively new, as both these guys still are, working their way up the rankings. And it makes this division have more and more depth along the way. You got to put this division in the top 3 right now, I think. You know, it used to be lightweight, welterweight, of course, bantamweight, women's strawweight, then middleweight. Middleweight's been 5th, but I think now it's in the top 3. I don't know which of the other 2 fall, because I still think lightweight and welterweight are 1 and 2. But middleweight's right there with the welterweight in terms of moving into 2nd, especially with Khamzat moving up. That just makes the division even deeper, in my opinion. So Strickland 32, du Plessis 30, both guys in the heart of their prime. They're both 6'1". They both have a 76-inch reach. All this stuff. The thing to watch here, and that I'll be talking about, is the switch stance ability from Dricus du Plessis. Because Sean Strickland usually walks his opponent's back. He keeps that lead leg kick. But will du Plessis be able to continue to switch stances and keep up the nearly 7 significant strikes per minute that he throws? That's harder against fighters like Sean Strickland. So that's going to be the big question mark in this fight as Bruce Buffer begins introducing the fighters here. So about a minute away, maybe 2 from this thing kicking off. So even though du Plessis lands 7 significant strikes per minute, Sean Strickland 5.8. And Sean Strickland has great defense and always lowers the average of his opponent, which would make this more of an even fight. But du Plessis has a takedown ability, and we'll see if that even matters in this fight. Both guys look extremely confident. And Toronto is packed. The crowd is kind of down right now. Just a lot of decisions. All 6 or 7 Canadian men's fighters lost. They went 2-0 on the women's side, though. But very disappointing night. And if they can get a finish here in this, that will probably make up for the night. Let's be real. Because this isn't one of those cards that was like very strong top to bottom. This was very top heavy in this fight. And this will really set the tone for the whole night, even though the night's over after this. If these guys go to a decision and it's not a great fight, that's going to be terrible. But it's kind of hard for that. It's hard to even imagine that. Let's be real. Someone's going down in this fight. And if no one goes down, I'll be very surprised. So right now, jump into the live chat. Jump into the chat room who you like. Let it be known before the fight. Don't wait till after the fight and then get in there and talk about, I told you. I want to know right now who you think is going to win the fight, so we all know. So it's on record, so we all know. Who do you like to win this fight? I'm taking Dricus. I'm not like 100% confident on him winning, but I like him to win this fight. I do want to see a good fight, though. I'm not going to lie. And won't be mad if Sean Strickland wins. And if Strickland does win this fight, he's the bona fide middleweight champ right now. Because this is the toughest opponent at this point in time. Hamza, yeah. But I'm just saying at this point in time, this is the biggest test for Strickland to see if he's going to be like a dominant champ like Adesanya. All right, so both fighters come together. They're receiving instructions. Sean Strickland, the current champion, taking on Dricus du Plessis for the middleweight title, and everybody's on the edge of their seat. I mean, everybody's on the edge of their seat. So here we go. Both fighters staring each other down. Again, the middleweight title is on the line. And the fight is underway. Oh my goodness. Please let something big happen. And here we go with the normal stance from Sean Strickland. He's going to be flat-footed. He's going to be throwing jabs. He's going to be throwing lead leg kicks. And he's going to try to get Dricus out of his game. And not many people have figured out Sean Strickland yet, so it's definitely a question mark at this point in time. And the crowd way behind Strickland. Chants of "Let's go Strickland" echo through the arena there. 4:20 left in the round. And already Sean Strickland seems like he's in decent control in the center of the octagon. It's going to be up to du Plessis to figure it out. Du Plessis stands lower. So it looks as though Sean Strickland's taller, but he just stands straight up. And Sean Strickland is just so good with defense while providing offense that he just keeps his hands down. He doesn't even cover himself up. But it's very difficult to get inside. Yeah, and already, just as we've seen before, Sean Strickland is completely slowed down Dricus so far. So we're approaching the 2-minute mark, and du Plessis has 3. Normally, he'd have 14. So, and we'll see how this continues throughout the fight. 13-4, Sean Strickland, who looks very comfortable right now to start this fight. A nice leg kick by du Plessis. We'll see if that can get him going. Come on, Dricus. You got to pick up the pace, man. Got to pick up the pace here. And a nice leg kick to the upper body, really, for Dricus. And you would think that Sean Strickland is 6'4" and Dricus is 5'11". That's what it looks like, just by their stances. But in fact, they're both 6'1". Now Dricus really throwing. He just can't connect. Now he switches to lefty. Something to keep an eye on. Back to righty. And so far, that switch stance hasn't bothered Sean Strickland whatsoever. He just continues to come forward like he always does. And his opponents have to backpedal and then shift left to right and then reset. Dricus shoots in for a takedown. Okay. Oh, Dricus gets the takedown. Oh, boy. Now Sean Strickland's going to try to stand back up. Very calm right now. Very calm is Sean, and he stands him back up. And now Dricus takes him back down. Okay. Dricus lets him up. Man, it just makes me crazy because it looks like Sean Strickland is just capable of being KO'd at any point, but it just, you don't see it happen. Pereira caught him, but that was because they're both fighting similar styles. All the other styles have a hard time. Oh, and a nice leg kick there by Dricus. Still 10 seconds left, and Sean Strickland's up 22-11 in significant strikes. So Sean Strickland just kind of fighting his fight right now. Lands a left and a right, and Dricus comes in with a left and a right, and both guys smile. Okay. Okay. I don't know, Dricus, man. I don't know. It's got me a little nervous right now. So again, as we discuss this throughout the night, so 5 minutes gone, he averages 7 significant strikes per minute. So he should have 35 right now. He's got 11. And that's what Sean Strickland does to his opponents. And we're seeing it happen again here. Sean's up pacing. Dricus is sitting in a stool taking some ice. Yeah, and Strickland's definitely controlling the distance. Looks very comfortable right now. And after the first round, it looks a lot like the Izzy fight. Strickland in control, just continues to move forward. And already to begin the round, he's moving forward. Flat-footed, never backs up. And Plessis will load up every now and then with a big right or big left. But it's almost like he's just too far away to really connect. He's just throwing it. And he's putting his head down when he does. Eventually, Sean Strickland's going to read that. Yeah, so because Sean Strickland is so good at keeping the distance, Dricus has to lean with his head down and throw punches in order to try to land, and that's not a good sign for him unless he connects. Spinning back fist for Dricus. 1 minute gone here, round 2. Come on, Dricus. Dricus nearly slips in the center of the octagon. Ooh. Some whipping jabs by Sean Strickland. This is not looking good for Dricus, man. He cannot connect. Just 20 significant strikes. 7 minutes to the fight. Strickland leads 35-20. Head strikes 26-9. That's the big one. You don't see any signs of frustration. Yeah, from Dricus, but I have a feeling you're going to start to see that in the next round. It just continues. Because I'm sure in Duplessis' head, the fight's going much different than he thought it would be going.
Because Sean Strickland's leaning back now to evade the strikes of Plessis. When he blitzes, you stick out the double chain into a double leg. Strickland's hips are there for him to attack.
Come on, man. We need some action. Let's go, Dricus. Do something. Oof. Boy, like, Strickland is so hard to hit, man. Gosh. It almost looks like a boring fight. It's just the control of Sean Strickland at range, keeping his opponents at range. This is a guy in Dricus Duplessis who's used to getting in the phone booth and swinging. But if your opponent keeps getting out of the phone booth, and by the time you throw the punch, he's already exited, and you're not connecting, that's going to get frustrating. And that's basically what's happening right now. That's why some of the best fights we've seen from Dricus are fights when his opponents like him, and they're just throwing punches. Usually goes Dricus' way. Now Dricus gets a takedown. That's 3 takedowns now for him. Sean Strickland trying to work his way up. Even though he's gotten takedowns, he hasn't been able to do anything with it, as Sean Strickland's gotten out of it pretty quickly. And it remains to be seen, but Sean Strickland could be a champion in a lot of ways, like John Jones was the champ. Now, John Jones is basically undefeated, right? But in the comparison that there's going to be tough times in fights, but big-time champions and guys that hold the belt for a long time always find a way to come through. And you could very easily see that happening here for Sean Strickland. All right, so better round for Dricus in round 2. So 42-28 in significant strikes. I still think Sean Strickland led in that round, though. Duplessis had 3 takedowns, just 50 seconds of control. So you're looking at it like, okay, Sean Strickland's getting taken down, but he's getting up within 20 seconds. You know, that's the way it is. Dricus obviously taking punches on the way in every time he's got to come in to try to connect. He's obviously having problems with that. He looked a little better in round 2, though. Sean Strickland on his feet still. He doesn't sit down. Guy's full of energy, man. And he's got some experience in a 5-round fight. That's always important. And look at Dricus' eye. Oh, my goodness. Dang. That's not good. It's like a bubble. Ooh, boy. And that's just from them straight jabs from Strickland. And it seemed like Dricus wants to stay righty more. But then those jabs are connecting on that eye. So he's going to be shifting to lefty a lot more in this round. Throws a big right, misses. A lot of people were saying 19-19 through 2. I'm not so sure. But Dricus definitely looked better in round 2. We're into the third round, right? I mean, this is the round where things could change. Momentum could swing one way or the other. And it could very easily swing in Dricus' way. It's just hard to tell at this point. But we say that because can Dricus continue the momentum here from round 2 into round 3 and continue to build up some points in terms of winning rounds? Come on, Dricus, get in there. And it's just, man, like Sean Strickland doesn't even move. He's just like standing there to be hit. But you can't get in there. It makes me crazy. It just seems like he's waiting to get KO'd, but he doesn't. He moves well as the punch is coming. He's moving back. He sees it before it happens. But we are in a fight. I mean, this is definitely a fight. Not the quick finish that a lot of people want to see. And now as we extend this conversation, as we talked about this week in terms of UFC 300, I think both these guys are out. Regardless of who wins, both guys are out of UFC 300. Like, we're not going to see the middleweight title on the line. Someone comes out and gets dropped right away. The winner could fight again in 3 or 4 months, but that's not going to happen. So the UFC's got like Alex Pereira. They got Leon Edwards. And who knows what they're going to do. Because in those two divisions, you don't have that big star-studded fight. Big left miss by Dricus. And he's just swinging but not able to connect. 61-48. Strickland in significant strikes. So this round has been a little bit slow paced. Yeah, even. I was going to say 15-15 exactly. Strickland led the first 2 rounds, dominated round 1. The last 10 minutes of this fight has been dead even. So it's not like Dricus is clearly tied on the scorecards or anything like that. I mean, Strickland could be up 2-0 too, very easily. Come on, Dricus. You need to land a big punch to swing this thing, man. Let's go. And he just swinging for the fences. And he's not used to going 5 rounds either. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Come on, Dricus. And how much does it favor? I mean, it's got to favor Sean Strickland having experience going 5 rounds. Being in a few fights like this now. Where Dricus not so much, right? Because you're only going 5 rounds, really, when you're fighting for the belt. So unless you fought for the belt, you're not in a 5-round fight. Maybe a main event on a fight night, possibly, but neither one really has a lot of experience. Sean Strickland a little more. Round 3 is done. They're both in their corners. Sean Strickland led rounds 2 and 3 by 1 significant strike. So though, if this goes to a decision, especially if these next 2 rounds are close, we're going to have no idea. Because it could be 3-0 Strickland right now, and it could be 2-1 Du Plessis. That's how different it could be on the judges' scorecards. If I had to guess, it's 2-1 Strickland. Maybe you probably got a judge or two that has him up 3-0 though. That's the problem. Dricus getting the crowd pumped up. Here we go for round 4. Under 10 minutes left in this fight. Not what I thought. I mean, I don't really know what I expected, but I expected a much faster pace from Du Plessis. I didn't think he'd have this much trouble getting inside of Sean Strickland. But I got to start realizing that everybody has trouble getting inside of Strickland. You got some people saying 2-1 Dricus, some saying 2-1 Strickland as it goes back and forth in the comments. Now Dricus tries to get into the body of Strickland. Strickland shoves him off real quick. Now Strickland's having a problem with his left eye. He keeps wiping at it. Yeah, he's having problems seeing out of his left eye. And he's got 4 minutes to deal with it before he can get back to his corner. Oh, big right by Sean. Another big right. And another big right. And I think what's happening is Sean's realizing that it obviously starting to have trouble seeing out of that left eye. So he's throwing some big punches to keep Dricus back. Oh, nice uppercut. Okay, boys, let's go. Who wants it now? Who wants it? You know, going back to the boxing days and, of course, the old days, you know, it's like you always have the belief that in order to beat the champion, you got to really beat him. If it's close, the judge is going to give the champ the round. It's not necessarily the case in UFC, though. But when you're watching it, you're like, okay, this guy's the champ. This other guy's really got to take the belt. Like, if it's close, the champ should win. And I know that's not the right way to look at it. But I'm just saying Du Plessis has got to do something. And he's having a nice 4th round, that's for sure. But it's not dominant. It's just, oh, big right by Du Plessis. And another big right. Now both guys are wiping their eyes, man. It's starting to pick up here. Okay. Boom. Nice leg kick by Dricus. Dricus starting to connect a little bit here. Dricus starting to connect a little bit. And Sean Strickland is backing up. You don't see that too often. Dricus goes in for the takedown. Come on, man. Come on, Dricus. 5 for 7 on takedowns. That's impressive. That's impressive. 90 to 79 in significant strikes for Strickland. 101 to 81 total strikes. Head strikes 78. But now 79 to 49. So you see rounds 2 and 3 were basically even. Du Plessis up by 3 here. So the first round was all Sean Strickland. After that, it's pretty much even. That's never a good thing. Because someone's going to be upset if it goes to a decision. Ooh. All right, both guys standing again. Under a minute left here. Round 4. Both guys getting a little tired here. As sometimes they connect and there's a pause before any more punches are thrown. And Sean Strickland has had trouble with his left eye for basically the entire round. And if he gets out of this, he's going to get out of this round. But when he gets back to his corner, he's going to feel much better for round 5. Because they'll get that taken care of. Oh, a big left and a right by Sean. Here in the final 10 seconds. Now a jab. And that's it. Round 4 is done. And we're about to have a huge round 5. Huge round 5 because I don't think either guy knows who's winning the fight. I really don't. I don't think either guy is confident they're winning. Yeah, and they get Sean Strickland's eye cleared up quick. Man, that's good work. All right, so Sean Strickland's corner saying we need everything right now. Everything is on the line. Sean Strickland going backwards for the first time in round 4. And I'm beginning to believe Dricus could sneak this thing. I think he won round 4. If he can win round 5, that gives him a chance. Here we go. You see the parties in South Africa. They're all fired up. Oh, shoot, man. This is a little nerve-wracking. These poor fans have just seen nothing but the clock tick all night long. I mean, every fight's going to a decision, it seems like. Who wants it? Who wants it? Come on, Dricus. How bad you want it, man? Do you really want to fight 2 more times to get back to this fight? So as people weigh in, you got 39-37 DDP, 39-37 DDP. So everyone's giving DDP the last 2 rounds. You got some saying 2-2. So I don't know. Now the crowd turning a little bit, chanting DDP. As Strickland takes a left and a right. And it don't look like round 1. Sean Strickland's starting to cover up a little bit. He's no longer controlling the center of the octagon. Because now it's Dricus coming forward. So he's definitely found a way to enter where most other fighters haven't against Sean Strickland. But is it going to be enough to get the win? I don't know yet. Too early to tell. It's still 110-88. Strickland in significant strikes, so he's starting to pull away a little bit. That's not a good sign for Dricus. It's 97-56 in head strikes. So when you look at the numbers, man, Sean Strickland is winning this fight. The problem is you had 3 rounds that were all like dead even. Dead even. And that makes it tough for a judge because you know you got 3 dead even rounds. You really give all those to one fighter? And everybody's saying this round is for the belt. I mean, everyone believes it's probably 2-2. Right? 2-2. And you're about to see these guys go out of here. 250 left in the fight. And the belt is definitely on the line here. Every second it ticks. Still up for grabs. Man, and after round 1, it just looked like, okay, Strickland's probably just going to dominate this fight. And it didn't go that way. DDP, started evening this thing up real quick in the next few rounds. Pulled away in round 4. And now it's pretty darn even in round 5, although Strickland's probably leading a little bit. Oh, big right by Sean. And another big right. Oh, man, this is close, man. Oh, my gosh. 130 left in the fight. Dricus stuffed on the takedown attempt. Yeah, this round is 26-16 Strickland. It just doesn't seem like it. What are the judges seeing? Like, it doesn't seem like it, but Sean Strickland just continues to pull away in the numbers. Now Dricus is picking it up a little bit. He's starting to get tired now. You're starting to see the gas tank fall apart. Sean Strickland is slowed down too, but he looks slow always. But DDP really opening up now. I think he knows he's got to do something big to try to get this belt, but I don't see it happening. I don't know, man. I can't even speculate on the winner of this thing. Oh, and they're swinging now. 30 seconds left. And DDP really breathing hard, man. Oh, a big right by Sean. And a left and another big right. Boy, and Sean might be doing enough here. Oh, my goodness. This is not a good look for du Plessis in round 5. And Sean Strickland does a jump kick with 24 minutes and 45 seconds into the fight. This guy's crazy. And Sean Strickland puts his hand up. He believes he won. Dricus puts his hand up. And these guys hug it out. But Sean Strickland really didn't want none of it. Dricus is sitting on top of the octagon. Both guys believe they won the fight. I don't know, man. This is probably going to take a minute because I have a feeling it's going to be split. Man. But when you look at the numbers, it's 154 to 116 Strickland in total strikes, 143, 114 in significant strikes. Head strikes, 125 to 78. I mean, Dricus had 6 takedowns, but only 2 minutes of control. I mean, I don't know, man. This is where I always go back to. If there was a scoring system with points for landed punches and takedowns, Strickland would win this fight easily. But it's not like that. The rounds are everything. And if you get 2 judges that say, hey, Dricus won 3 rounds, he wins the belt. And it's as simple as that. As we get a look at the replays, both guys are going back and forth. Man. And we were tested tonight, man. Going live for the big 3. Every fight's gone. I mean, we've had every second except for the final 15 of the Neil Magny Mike Mallet fight, which got finished late in the 3rd round. Gone through 10 rounds in the co-main and main event. It's crazy. And regardless of the decision, it's going to be an exciting decision when it's announced. And new or and still. So Dricus du Plessis came in at 20-2. Sean Strickland 28-5. If I had to make a prediction for how this is going to go, I'm going to say Sean Strickland's going to win the decision. It's about to get real. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's going to be split. 48-47 Strickland. Oh, my God. 48-47 du Plessis. Oh, my God. 48-47. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And... No! Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Dricus just stole the belt, baby. Dricus just stole the belt. What'd I tell y'all, man? We'll take the 6-6 night with the 2-0 in the main event on the year. Let's go. Wow. Wow. Dricus du Plessis steals the belt with a split decision. And just that drama for those last 5 seconds might have made the whole night worth it. I don't know. But Dricus stole the belt. He's 21-2, and he says, hey, I'm not fighting Hamza, so forget about it. We'll talk about that next week. But for right now, Dricus du Plessis is pumped. He stole the belt, and Sean Strickland has fallen. Despite dominating the stats, Sean Strickland has fallen. South Africa is going crazy right now to have a middleweight champion here at UFC 297. So look, man, it's been real. We're going to have to get off here. We've been on here, over 2 hours for 3 fights. You know, round by round, minute by minute, decision after decision. It was worth it. Dricus du Plessis gets the belt. And we finish 4-0 in the final 4 fights. But listen, man, we'll catch y'all next week for more action. It's been real. Hope you have a great night, and God bless. Peace.